All right. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome to another exciting episode of The Legend of the Three Kingdoms. Yes, this is one of my... wow, brain is gone, guys. Thanks for coming. See you in a couple weeks. This is one of my homebrew campaigns set in my homebrew world. The people below me are seriously wondering if I'm okay. Yeah. So Dungeons and or Dragons. Kind of cool, right? Like you can dungeon in them and then you can drag them through the uns. And... dude, is that a Funko Tiamat?
I've shown you this before.
You probably have. My brain
Yeah.
doesn't remember it, but
Yeah, my brother got me for Christmas.
that is amazing.
He was in Colorado. He actually found a deal.
I remember somebody put out an actual Tiamat miniature.
Oh yeah, B. Dave Walter has one. It actually scarred him. He wasn't careful with his placement, and her claw actually kind of got him. It's a bigature.
It's really, really... because it's technically... it's in line with... like, it's the correct size if humans were like
size,
a little that. And
size
it's
scale,
like
yeah.
this. It's massive. It's so cool. There's
She's also a deity. So
yeah. Well, there's an MMO that sucks now, but used to be super awesome called Neverwinter. And the first, or I think the second raid boss, their first big expansion, was based on Tyranny of Dragons.
it's root beer.
Oh, that looks so good. I love root beer. I haven't had root beer in forever.
I'll just in case anyone's ever like, yeah, you're drinking.
But the final raid in that expansion is you fight Tiamat. Very similar to how you do in the actual Tyranny of Dragons game. And so what ends up happening is you go into this big room with this massive hole to hell, because that's where Tiamat's been banished. And you watch as these like building size heads start rising out of it. And they completely dwarf your characters, and then you have to fight Tiamat, and it's a really cool fight. So yeah. Announcer moments. On Monday, the trailer for Tears of the Realms, which is the new Legend of Zelda RPG that I'm going to be running for Zelda Universe. The teaser trailer went out on Monday. It's super, super cool. Yeah, check it out. And then we go live on June 17th, so that's a few weeks away. It's really awesome. This weekend, Kiri Callaghan, actually, friend of mine, friend of a few people on the channel, and published author and just overall badass. That's Kiri. She's super cool. She's actually running her first D&D adventure.
She's DMing, and she got two of us assholes to be in it.
Yeah, I'm playing one, and let's see which. There we go. Imp's playing one. I'm playing a monk. No one can figure out why. I think Imp, you're artificing.
Artificer.
Right? Yeah.
Artificer.
He's artificing with a robo monkey.
Gorilla.
So yeah, 2 days. It should be a lot of fun. We very rarely get to terrorize Kiri, so this will be fun.
I'll have that smug bitch clip ready to go.
I brought that up, I think, in our wrap up for campaign 1. I just randomly said, yeah, and Kiri called me a smug bitch. And she looks at me, she's like, what? And I said, yes, you did.
And then I brought the clip up.
Yeah, and then it brought the clip. She's like, oh, yeah, it's because you were a smug bitch. And I'm like, well, I mean, because we were doing, we call it Realms Randomized, where it's just a thing where random things would happen, and they would be random classes. It was a lot of fun. But one of the things that could happen is the players could become DM for, I think, a minute.
Yeah.
And so Kiri did something, that broke the game for the rest of the game. And then she had like
30
30
seconds
seconds left.
Yeah.
And so you got 30 seconds left. She's like, oh shit. And I just go, ha! DMV is harder than it looks, isn't it? And she goes, you smug bitch. You get to prep for this. It was pretty good. I'd never been called a smug bitch from Kiri before. I don't think anyone had ever called me a smug bitch before. I've been called other things. The list of names that I've been called simply from being a bully magnet my entire life, like, and I don't know if, well, I do know. I think most writers for teen comedies were either never bullied as children or were bullies themselves and didn't realize what they were doing was bullying, because the stuff like bullies in high school movies say is really boring compared to the bullshit that I got. And some of it didn't even sound mean. Some of it was just they would like attack your soul, and they would just pick out that one flaw that you didn't realize anyone else knew that you were sensitive about, and then they just attack it. And they would sound like really sweet as they were just ripping you into tiny pieces, and you're like, "Fuck you, dude." And then I played basketball against one of my bullies, and he kept taking these like outside top of the key 3-pointers and missing every single one. And quite a few were just pure whiffs. Like didn't hit the backboard, nothing. And I was very bad at basketball. I have to emphasize this. I'm not a good basketball player. I've never been a good basketball player. I will never be a basketball player. Being tall isn't nearly as useful as it sounds in basketball. There's a coordination thing that I never had. But I would dribble around, and I was bigger than he was, and I would just take real simple 2-pointers, and I was beating him, and he kept like insulting me the entire time, and I'm just like, scoreboard. And so finally he just started slapping me in the middle of the game, and I had no idea how to react to that because the teacher just missed it. And so I'd be sitting there, and he would just go, psh! And I'm like, like, you can't do that. No.
Oh no!
It was the
slapping in
most
basketball?
emasculating thing ever. But it was like after it happened like 2 or 3 times, I started realizing that the reason he was slapping me was because I was beating him. So it felt a little bit better. It was like, aw, you can't make me stop beating you, so you have to resort to violence. That's adorable. Surprisingly enough, did not improve my social standing at all. Enough about my childhood traumas. Trying to think if there's anything else big going on. Bigby's Guide to Giants. You can pre-order now, which is, I think, it's like the second to last or third to last 5th edition book that's going to come out. Because everything after this will be one D&D, which is not going to survive when they actually publish the new version of D&D.
Everyone's making a point of saying like there's no point. There's like they're putting all this stuff out before the new system comes out. What's the point? This is all supposed to be backwards compatible, guys.
Yeah, well,
You're supposed to be able to still use it all.
We'll see. I'm
Now,
interested.
execution, will it happen?
Yeah.
I'm expecting it to. It's supposed to.
I to be perfectly honest, I don't think we're going to get quote unquote one D&D in 2024. Or if we do, it's going to be at the very end of 2024 because every single playtest they've set out has been just bonkers bad. And they have a lot of work to do to get it up to a playable system. So yeah, we'll see what happens, but I'm interested in it. You know, I like when
Stop giving out 15-minute surveys.
What was it called? Storm Giants Thunder was like the 5th adventure
Storm
book.
Kings?
Storm King's Thunder, there we go. Was like the 5th adventure book that they came out, and part of the book was just a lot of info about giant society and stuff like that. And that was really interesting.
The Ordning.
Yeah, the Ordning and all that stuff. So I'm interested to see what this is. I'm also interested to see some new giant stat blocks because they're going to have a bunch of monsters in there. And there's apparently a one subclass and a bunch of new races and backgrounds in there too, which should be interesting. We'll
I
see.
I think there's also. Let me just take a look at the thing. There's also the Domains of Delight Baywell accessory.
Jonos. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Due to the fact that I cover almost, I think the only book that I have not done an in-depth review for was the heist book that just came out, and it just came at a bad time for me to do an in-depth review. I bought the book.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be buying this one too, and I'll buy whatever the last book is. I can't remember what it is. They announced what all the books are, and I can't remember what any of them are. But looks cool. I'm a fan of source books in general. And I like the character of Bigby. I think they're cool characters. So
The Planescape or something. I can't remember the name of it.
That's what it is. Yeah, I'd like to see them bring Sigil back. Or Sigil, however the hell you pronounce that
It's
word.
Sigil.
Why?
Because
I don't
that's
like
the reason
Sigil.
why Matt. Yes, same. But that's the whole reason why people were giving Matt Mercer shit in campaign 1, because he said he pronounced Sigil Sigil, because he was thinking of the city, and that's just how he thought it was pronounced.
It's an interesting city, and I think it's the Lady of Pain.
Yeah.
Really interesting character. Lots of cool lore stuff. So, yeah.
That other book I mentioned also goes. If you purchase that one, it goes towards Extra Life.
Oh yeah. Always cool stuff. We'll see what happens. Don't get me wrong, love D&D. It's really cool, really amazing. But I've played so much D&D in the past 10 years. I'm really enjoying when I get a chance to play other systems, just because they are very, very different. Like the Legend of Zelda one-shot that Critical Role did last night used a modified version of Powered by the Apocalypse, which is a great system. Tears of the Realms is going to be using a modified version of the Cypher system, which is going to be super, super fun. I got to play the Stargate RPG a couple weeks ago. That's a really interesting D&D adjacent system, because it uses the 5th edition SRD, but goes bonkers with it. Like your character class only gets 5 levels, and then everything else is a bunch of feats and other things like that, so you can make some really zany characters.
Equipment stuff.
Yeah, it's a cool system.
The Star Wars system is very interesting too.
Yeah, if it'll ever get back in print. The company that made it went belly up. They sold it to somebody that I can't remember who it is, and they have not reprinted any of the books. So right now, it is not possible to get any of the books for the Star Wars Force and Destiny. And there's 3 different Star Wars systems that all work together. But yeah, I wanted to get all 3 of the books, and they don't sell them digitally anywhere. And the physical copies have been out of print for like 3 or 4 years. So the only place you can find them is for like $300 on Amazon or eBay. And the company keeps saying, it's like, oh, we're going to reprint them, we're going to reprint them, we're going to reprint them. And that was like 2 years ago. Publish digitally, people. Publish digitally. Makes it a lot easier to preserve your stuff. I've got a bunch of systems that are out of print, but because they have digital copies of them, I have all of them. Anyway, you guys want to play some D&D? Does it sound cool?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then, it is time for us to return to the legend of the 3 kingdoms. The party has made its way to Demise Tower. knowing very little about the tower other than it is where the Dark Lord sends his most feared captives. They arrived without much of a plan. They were told using a particular boat will lead them into the dock, and that aside from a single guard, no one else has ever been seen in the tower, nor has anyone ever returned from it. When the party found the boat, they found no oars or any source of propulsion for it. But as they all sat in it, Argenta went, grasped onto the rudder, and the boat started propelling itself. When they eventually came to the dock, they were greeted by a large, imposing figure, entirely in black and indigo armor, carrying a wicked-looking longsword and shield. The creature told them that they were not welcome, and then left. The party, being incredibly intelligent, decided to ignore the large, imposing figure, walked up to the door that he had exited from, and that is where we left them. So,
I remember as we were entering. I don't know if this was before or after we walked through. We each of us had the urge that like we were kind of commanded slash given an imposing feeling that we were supposed to give everything we had on us up.
yep. So there was a set of stairs from the dock that basically had 3 landings. And every time you got to a landing, you would kind of relive all of the bad things that you had ever done. And on each landing, you would feel more worthless and more hopeless. And by the 3rd landing, that feeling manifested in this command from what felt like yourself to give up all of your possessions and just drop them there. None of you took that option. And when you made the decision to not give up your weapons and everything, you felt this overwhelming feeling that you had made the wrong decision. But thus far, that has been the only consequence of making that decision.
You chose poorly.
Yeah, weird dude, beard, red cross on his chest, bunch of cups everywhere. So,
Yeah, they're all knockoffs from Wish anyway.
yeah. Which one is the cup of a carpenter? This one looks like a cup of a carpenter. Which, the weird thing about that cup was I think it was meant to look kind of wooden, but the cup itself was brass. So I don't know why a carpenter would be using a brass cup.
No, it was wooden. It was just like, but the light in it gave it a weird effect.
Yeah, I think all the insides were gilded for all the cups.
Anyway, so as you guys get to the top, the door does open, and it is as the door opens, you feel this kind of wave of air just kind of bellow out of it, as if the air inside the tower is heavier than everything outside. And as the air hits you, you can feel it blow through, almost like blow through your skin to your bones. The air kind of pierces through everything. It feels very kind of cold and sharp. You instantly, as you kind of breathe it in a little bit, you feel your lungs ache slightly. Your eyes tear a little bit from it. And you see beyond the door, you just see a staircase winding up into darkness.
Merlin sees that, and he is going to go, yeah, if we're going to make a bad decision consciously, I need to do something here. And he's just going to, like, come here. And he's just, like, goes to each person, and he, like, puts a hand on them. Inspire's prayers, and he is giving each person a death ward.
I don't know
Well,
why you
thank
feel
you.
the need to do that. I don't think anything about this seems deadly. But if you want to waste your spell slots, I'm not going to stop you.
Do I do that?
So as Rowan comes
work.
up and kind of lays on hands to all of you, you guys do feel this almost as if there's just this tiny little very thin barrier around you. And you guys do notice that as he does that, the wind that previously felt like it was blowing directly through you now feels a little bit more distant. You can still feel the wind, but it doesn't quite feel as deadly to you as it did before.
Yeah, soft as a whisper on the grave, you hear a female voice go, "Don't fuck it up."
Anything else you guys want to do?
Valeraven will re-up her mage armor.
Okay. Do you guys want to go in? Do you guys want to try the boat? By this point, has left. So if you guys do want to try and get out of here, I mean the water looks lovely. You can't see through it, but I'm sure swimming in this water wouldn't cause any ill effects.
Totally.
I'm thirsty, guys. I'm gonna go down for a drink.
Ooh.
Okay.
You have a backup character, right? So, again,
have
what do you guys
many.
want to do? Large set of the stairs and everything in this tower itself is built from this strange kind of bluish black stone. And so the stairs themselves, as they go up, you can see that there are sconces going up, but the sconces don't seem to give off anywhere near as much light as you think that they should. And the flames coming from them have like a light blue tinge to them, instead of the kind of traditional red fire that you're used to seeing.
Rowan will temporarily cast light on his mace and see if that's deadened as well, or if it shines brighter.
Okay. As you cast light on your mace, where you guys are standing right now, it works exactly the way you would expect it to. If you look to see how far it travels into the hallway, it seems to only have about half the range it normally would, for both the bright light and the dim light.
20 and 20. So 10 and 10.
Mm-hmm. You also notice
Yes.
that the light, whatever color it is on your mace, shifts in hue as it goes in and adopts that kind of strange bluish glow to it. You were saying, Argenta?
You said it was very cold in here?
Yes, not cold enough that you fear for exposure or anything like that. Just uncomfortably cold.
Do you see our
Okay.
breath?
No, like
Okay,
think
so
like
it's-
low
it's-
60s.
Yeah, it's not freezing. Okay.
Yeah, just somewhere like if you were to stay here a while, you would probably get used to it. But it makes walk you around without some sort of layers on very uncomfortable.
As someone who used to work in a walk-in refrigerator, it still sucks.
Mm-hmm. So, stairs or docks? What do you guys want to do?
I think we step through the door.
Yeah, and I will activate my weather the dog.
Okay. So something unique as you kind of pull your sword out, you cut your hand a little bit. As the blade begins to glow, You notice, unlike the light spell, your sword is emitting daylight. And it doesn't seem to be affected by whatever it is that's deadening this light and the light from the sconces and everything like that. It also doesn't turn it blue. Whatever you would normally have it do, it seems to be working that way.
Alright.
So as you guys go up, you discover this. As you come up the stairs in the south here, you notice a hallway in front of you. I'm going to see you let me do this. That would there we go. That's the one I want. All right, so the audience can see this as well. You see this.
They saw your Gmail for a hot second.
Yeah. Ignore that. Yeah, we'll ignore that. Always use the preview feature, folks. You see this long hallway, and at the end of it, you can see a set of bars, and on the inside of the bars, there is this large kind of glowing circle with, you can't see from where you are, but it seems to be that there's some sort of pattern on it. And then to the left and the right, you can see a hallway that has doors that go north and doors that go south. What would you all like to do?
Sorry, so are we at the southern?
You're in the southern
stairs?
port. If you guys want to go ahead and put your
Okay.
your figures down there, you can. I'm not going to require you guys to kind of move all of them the entire time, but it'll give you a point of reference.
I think Vala will head down the hallway towards the light.
Okay. So as you walk down the hallway, again, the walls on either side, they do have sconces. The entire floor seems to have mostly kind of dim light everywhere. And as you get to the center, you can see there are bars. And this center place, this is here, there seem to be 4 doors, one in each of the cardinal directions. All of them are bars that are thick enough that you think you would have a hard time breaking them, and close enough together that you don't see yourself being able to fit through them at your current size. And again, in the center, you see this large kind of white symbol. And there seems to be an arcane glyph apparently kind of carved into it that's glowing. But it's not a glyph that you are familiar with. It's obviously arcane in nature in some way, shape, or form, but it doesn't follow any of the kind of standard rules of magic that you are aware of. What about the rest of you guys? I will also say you do notice that fairly regularly on the wall you see this symbol. I'll blow it up a little bit so you guys can see. So you see this symbol fairly regularly along the wall.
Do we have any idea what it is? It seemed familiar.
What languages does everyone speak?
Well,
Common.
everyone will speak first.
Elvish and Sylvan.
Okay. Vala, you've never seen anything like this. It's not remotely similar to anything you know of.
How many of it vampiric?
Nothing for you? Rowan?
Celestial and infernal.
Nothing? Argenta?
Common, draconic, dwarvish, elvish, infernal, orc, vampire.
Nothing.
Okay.
Again, it's obviously some sort of symbol indicating something, but whether it's a letter or a word, you guys got nothing. So go ahead and close that. I initially wanted to make it handouts for everyone, but I did not have enough prep time to make as many handouts as I would have needed. So I'm just going to drag pictures onto the map.
I'm gonna take a wild shot in the dark,
Okay.
and I'm gonna cast message,
Okay.
and I'm gonna try to message Celeste.
Ooh. Remind me, have you tried messaging Celeste since you've been here before?
I have not. A message is 120 feet range.
Okay.
Can't remember if I've tried sending or not.
I was about to say, message, nothing happens. The spell,
Okay.
quote unquote, doesn't connect. Yeah.
Okay.
Boo-doo-doo, we're sorry. The number you have dialed is no longer in service.
My God, Celeste's dead. No, wait. Just means she's out of range. She's out of network. I'm on roaming. Okay.
The
Just ghosting
true evil thing. Because now that you've used your roaming minutes, like, those are like $1 a minute, dude. It's rough.
You may have to call correct.
Yeah, and that becomes a whole other thing.
I
Ever
feel
here
like
remember when
I've-
there were the numbers that you had to dial before you dialed the number to get better rates?
Wait, what I have to
1-800-COLLECT.
Well, there was 1-800-COLLECT, but there used to be numbers that you could dial that would just give you cheaper rates, and I can't remember any of them off the top of my head, but I remember specifically them existing, and it's not a thing anymore.
With the way of putting what $50 of quarters in a payphone or some shit, and recording it.
No, I never did that. No, these were 100% legal. Like, they used to advertise them on TV, and they'd have really catchy jingles. Not quite as catchy as
first-
0118999.
First name Weada Baby. Last name Eats a Boy. No, it was Sam.
Remember that one?
I had a baby. It's a boy.
Boy. Call and collect is a weird thing nowadays, and it was so common. Everybody did it. I feel old. Anyway, back to the game. So yeah, what else you guys want to do? You do notice kind of a lack of anyone around as far as you can see. You guys haven't gone into any of the...
Let's say do we hear anything?
You can hear, like, every so often you can hear coughs or shuffling and things like that. It sounds like there are people here, but as far as you can tell, you do not see a single guard anywhere. Just realized I need my D20.
I will head back to the party.
Okay. Roll a Constitution save. No. Where else
That
you
was
guys
what,
want to go?
I was waiting for something to happen. Realm was just going to stare at you. It's just like, so we learned nothing from the last one, huh? Just
They're
wandering
not
off.
going to put traps in the middle of a dungeon or a middle of a jail.
Say that. Realm, go, say that again.
What?
Say that again.
This entire place is the trap. We've walked into it. Not gonna have like exploding bombs in the middle of the
Yes, what kind
floor.
of sadistic person could possibly exist?
I mean, to be fair, I don't know if he just kind of has a dour outlook. He did warn us not to come in. He might not be aggressive. We'll see.
Right, we've already walked into the trap. I'm not gonna murder you in the trap.
By
I
the
mean-
very nature of the definition of trap.
First step to avoiding a trap is walking into it. I mean, this is just science. I minored in trap magic, okay? Trust me.
I have the definition of homeschooled, and I know that's not right.
So who else do you guys
Yes.
want to go?
This is Vala. We have to make sure she's okay.
Bala begins wandering off.
Okay.
No, bad.
Has eventually get one of those like harnesses with
I'm
the
gonna say, I was
leash.
like, I was gonna say, okay, you get the monkey. I'm gonna click that on you, holding onto the tail.
So yeah, Vala walks over to one of these doors and like peeks her head in.
So you notice that in here is a set of four, or not four. Let's try 8. There are 8 cells in here, each about 10 by 10 feet. Some of them are filled, some of them aren't. And
Filled with candy.
yes, candy, sweets, nuclear weapons, you know. Some of them have people in them, some of them don't. There's never more than one person in any cell. And the people in each cell, they tend to all be wearing kind of similar clothing, like an undershirt, almost like sleeping gown kind of thing. None of them look very kind of kempt. Hair is messy, dirty, and none of them seem to acknowledge your presence when you're walking through this. They don't look up, they don't do anything. A lot of them are just kind of sitting down in a corner, staring off into nothing.
I will go over to the first one I see and go, "Hello there."
This particular one is a tiefling that you think their skin was probably kind of a reddish, almost ruby tint, but there's so much kind of dust and things caked on it that they just have this very gray appearance. One of their horns is kind of cracked, with bits of it missing. And he's sitting against the wall. His arm is kind of resting on his knee, and he's just looking at the other side of the room, and nothing. As you speak to him, he doesn't acknowledge you. He just kind of stares at the other side of the room.
Are the doors with metal doors or
Bars.
or-
Bars with a locking mechanism. The locking mechanism does not seem overly complex. It looks like, other than the fact that it's incredibly kind of depressing in here, it looks kind of like a standard jail. You know, each room has a tiny little cot. In the corner, you can see a chamber pot.
I will with me, you know, wait. Oh, he was in the bar. This is where he gets his attention.
Okay. As you kind of hit the bars and stuff like that, nothing. What are you hitting the bars with? You just kind of grabbing them and shaking them, or you hitting them with your sword?
Probably like the part of my sword.
Okay. So as the sword connects with the bars, you do feel kind of force that kind of bounces you back as you hit it. Not enough to hurt you or anything, but it has a little bit more of an impact than you were expecting from just metal bars.
I think the baby okay baby something like this. So
I mean, we know the Dark Lord's love of special bars.
Yes, and I don't
Yeah.
doubt it given the sigil in the middle.
Did anybody remember to bring a hacksaw this time? I'll take that as a no. I'll look over at Relwyn and say,
I mean, did
la-
you?
I did not, fortunately. Last time we were in one of these jails, the bars had an anti-magic property, and we were able to remove a couple of them and turn them into bullets.
Well, Commander did.
Commander,
I
And it-
was using the last of the bullets that he had on him.
and they are super effective.
If we could find more of that metal, I'm sure I could take Commander's notes and make more, but I don't think we have.
Oh, maybe the bones.
Follow will just kind of wander down the hallway a little bit,
Okay.
looking at, seeing if any of the faces are familiar.
Looking through, you don't recognize anyone here. In this particular block, seems that there's only 3 of the cells are filled right now. So the other 5 are empty. They're all locked, though.
And I didn't send anybody here. None of the people that I dealt with were that rated this high.
I don't believe so, no.
Okay.
It, yeah, generally the people that get sent here are sent here personally by the Dark Lord. Or in very, very rare instances, one of his, like the Blood Pack, to your knowledge, the Blood Pack in general enacts their own justice. But you do remember one story where the Blood Pack, instead of just dealing with someone, actually took them captive and took them directly to Demise Tower. But other than that, you were far enough away from Demise Tower that you never dealt with any of it.
Okay.
By the time you were done with most people, they were done.
As Rowan follows along each of the cells as we're examining them, he's going to make it a point when he gets to the end. He's going to go from there, and then he's going to go back to the entry point. And when he does, before he does walk back, he's going to use one of his features of Eyes of the Grave,
Okay.
and he'll then look at the cells again, both the ones that are occupied and the ones that are unoccupied.
And remind me what does Eyes of the Grave do?
I will also put that in chat, but basically it's basically you detect whether or not you see any undead. I would imagine also if there's any ghosts or spirits,
Okay.
as long as there's no divination chicanery.
So as you As you activate Eyes of what was it called again?
Eyes of the Grave.
Eyes of the Grave. If you activate Eyes of the Grave, the cells that are empty are still empty. The cells that are full, you can kind of see, kind of like a second silhouette of the person there. Almost as if like a double exposure kind of thing. If you're familiar with that photography term.
Mm.
So for each person that's there, you can see some aspect of undeath is around them. But you can also see them physically there as well.
But nothing. Okay, so nothing in the empty cells. But Relwyn will say, well, anyone who seems to be occupying these cells seem to be encapsulated in some form of necromancy, undeath.
You don't see that on us, do you?
It's still up. I would imagine I would see them in my POV when I look.
Not. You guys don't look any different as far as Eyes of the Grave is concerned. You do notice kind of, since you guys have been in here, it almost seems like someone has kind of turned down the saturation knob. Like all the colors on all of your guys' clothing just seems kind of dampened a little bit. Not quite as vibrant as it used to be.
No, but this place seems to be making it a point of deadening the environment around us.
He should.
I wonder if we'll have this over time.
I'm
This could be
guessing.
possibly long-term exposure to whatever point, gesturing back to the center.
Yeah. We should do what we need to. What we came here to do, and then get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
We know who we're looking for specifically.
I'm guessing they're probably in the penthouse suite.
So where do you guys want to go?
Are we continuing to go up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we want to look around here and look in each of the cells and see if we recognize anybody, or?
I will mention
Yeah.
to the south of where you guys are, like going into the cells, there's no door or anything. It's just an opening. But directly south of you guys, there is a wooden door in the wall.
Yeah, I mean, just looking around, is there anyone that we would recognize?
Not really. Some of them you actually have a hard time seeing their face because it's covered in hair or they're looking away or something. But
I will go to the door to the south of us,
Okay.
and I will investigate the door to see if it's trapped.
okay, roll me an investigation check.
Guidance.
Ooh. Guidance is a D4.
Yep.
That is 19 total then.
Okay. As far as you can tell, not only is it a very plain door, you don't see a locking mechanism on it.
I will open the door.
Explosion! No. Door opens and you can see a relatively large but boring storage room. You can see some additional chamber pots that don't seem to have anything in them. Various. There's a few linens in here. There's some rope. Just kind of standard stuff that you would kind of expect that they would need extras of.
Feels like it's just a supply closet.
Well, that means there's people here then. Some functioning of custodian ship.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we head up to the next level then?
Yeah.
So the stairs that you guys came from seem to only connect with the door below. If you explore a little bit, you can find in the north there's another set of stairs that go upwards.
All right. I think we head to the northern stairwell then.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you guys walk up the stairs, I have to do the math. Okay. As you guys head up the stairs, you arrive in a place that looks very similar to the place you left. However, checking around on the walls, you see this pattern repeated over and over again.
Hmm. Could those be floor numbers, maybe?
I'm not sure.
Or the type of criminals that are in here?
Yeah. It is not familiar to any of us.
Well, you guys have just gotten up here. Oh, and yeah, the symbol itself
Symbol.
doesn't look like anything you all have seen before.
Hmm.
None of you have that spell. Is that the one where people can like read languages and stuff?
Comprehend languages.
I don't. If we want to spend the night, I could maybe figure it out in the morning.
I was rather not.
I mean, doesn't this place just seem cozy? We could turn this into a spa.
Rowan's gonna try to peek into a cell.
Okay.
And see if there's any occupants, and so how do they compare to the ones we've encountered at the first floor?
Okay. Which cell block do you want to go to? You can just point on the map.
Come on.
Oh, that one right there. Okay. So looking at this one, this cell block is actually full. And again, obviously it's different people, but they all kind of seem to be in the same state. They don't seem to be acknowledging much of anything. They all seem to be wearing kind of similar clothing. They're all kind of caked in some sort of dust or something. Yeah. Other than that, you don't see any sort of a pattern as far as these people. Like, there's a couple humans. There's an Aarakocra here. There's one person whose physical features you actually can't tell at first. And if you spend a couple minutes kind of looking at them, you realize that the reason that you can't pick out their features is they just don't have them. Their face seems to be almost amorphous.
Oh, does Rowan know what a changeling is?
Roll me a history check.
No, I'm not rolling digital. We're on a break. 13, 16.
16. So, not only are changelings not native to Cruciatalia, they're also not native to the prime material plane where most of the people of Cruciatalia were stolen from. They're actually native to the elemental plane of water. So stories of humanoid creatures that could just alter their physical shape at will have kind of bled into the mythos of society. Your understanding of a changeling is they're a myth. They're
I saw a
story.
leprechaun.
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, generally changelings, even when they're in their kind of neutral form, will have features. This, for whatever reason,
I was wondering, like, maybe they just don't give a shit anymore.
is possible.
Rowan is going to repeat what he did before, and he's going to use the features of Eyes of the Grave again. He is wondering if maybe second floor, if the silhouette is going to be more intense or not.
Okay. So looking through it, again, very similar to kind of a double exposure thing. You can see basically two figures occupying the same space. And it doesn't seem to be any more or less pronounced than it was on the first floor, aside from the fact that there's just more people in this block than the one that you saw before.
Not more or less, though.
Vala will again go towards the center of the tower.
Mm-hmm.
Cast message again, only this time I'm going to target Henri.
You said 120 feet, right?
120 feet.
Okay.
Be like, hey friend, just wanted to see if you're here.
The message connects. No response.
Oh shit, I wasn't expecting this.
Oh shit! No, sorry, not Henri. I'm sorry. I was thinking of a different character. Message doesn't connect.
Okay.
I have no idea why, but my brain just flipped two characters. So yeah, no, nothing from Henri. Would have been cool, but I'm not quite that inventive.
Okay.
And Rowan will wait for, like, whatever you're doing, because I don't know if I actually see, like, if I don't know if I actually, that type of spell, if I hear you actually talking for when you do that, but I'll see you do something, and Rowan will go, nothing seems more or less the same here, although one individual doesn't have a face.
Can you point them to me?
Oh, me?
Points to the cell, and it goes like that one on whichever side.
It's this
Number
cell
blah blah
up
blah
here.
on the side.
Do I know anything about them?
You would actually be a little bit more familiar with changelings. You've never met one, but you're familiar with them. And yeah, this looks like a changeling, kind of mid-change, as far as you can tell. I will say, as you walk past the door, you do see just the tiniest bit of light coming out from beneath the door to the storage room.
Guys, there's a light on. I'm gonna go and investigate the storage closet.
Okay. So again, very plain door, no locking mechanism. As you open it, you realize that the light is coming from a single, relatively small window near the top of the room.
There's light coming in from outside. I was not expecting that.
If you want, you can. You'll have
Rowan's
to
like-
stand on something to be able to see out it, but if you want to look out, you can.
It was like dense, wet mist air outside. Was there a lot of light at all?
Uh,
Because
I
when we
mean-
got in, I didn't get the sense that there was.
It's effectively permanently overcast here.
Yeah.
So during the daytime, it is brighter than it is during the nighttime, but
Okay.
you wouldn't be able to pick out where the sun is.
Okay, so it's not bright. Okay.
But
It's
it's
just-
brighter than.
It's brighter than the dim light that is in here.
Okay.
So, did anyone want to try and look out the window or anything?
I'll
Yeah.
lift up Vala if she wants to look.
Okay. So looking out, you are significantly higher than the second floor.
We are way up here, guys.
Arcane bullshit.
Yeah.
All right.
No question, Tony. If I wanted to use my psychometry as a sound, would I have to be in it or would be here?
I don't
The sound would be enough.
I don't think you need to be in it because like as much as there is a technically a physical barrier preventing you from going in, it's bars. You can see in. So I'd say if you're outside the cell, you could use psychometry on the cell.
Alright, I will hit the one with the surgery.
Okay. So
And that will be a hit me check out of medicine.
go for it.
That will be a 15.
So as you kind of focus on the cell itself, you watch in your mind's eye like little bits of moss kind of grow and shrink as you kind of basically start kind of watching the cell go backwards through time. And the figure in it doesn't move for a while. Like you're not sure exactly how quickly you are regressing backwards through to the time, but the person is sitting there significantly longer than you think should be possible for a humanoid. They're not getting up and going to bed. They're not using the chamber pot. They're not eating anything. It just seems for months and months and months they're just sitting there. As you keep going, you eventually start seeing a little bit of movement. And the further back you go, the more they move. Sometimes they'll go to bed, sometimes they'll. But there's this overwhelming sense of wrongness that there's a word in there somewhere.
Permutates.
Thank you. This entire thing that's kind of what your psychometry is latching on to. And eventually you see the figure get thrown in, and you see the figure kind of look around, and you can see the despair in their face, and they have a full like regular face at this point. You can see the despair in their face, and you also see that evil looking knight come in. He doesn't throw them in, he doesn't bring them in shackles or anything like that. He simply leads them in, puts them in there, closes the door. Not a word is said this entire time. And you watch the person kind of turns around and they wander around, and slowly you watch them just kind of lose their will to live. And then you're back. With a 15, you can't really tell how long they've been there, but it's been a while. And again, the kind of the biggest thing you learned from this is when they came here, they were already kind of in a bit of a stupor, but it gets progressively, significantly worse the longer that they stay in the cell.
I tell what it looked like when they were rubbing it in.
Kind of a young face, blonde hair, kind of short, probably around like 5'4" ish, masculine presenting. Beyond that, not really. You didn't.
But
He,
definitely more defined.
oh yes, they looked they looked human when they came in. They looked 100% human.
Right.
The face kind of slowly lost its definition over however long they were here. But it didn't start losing its definition until they had kind of sat in that one spot and not moved for a while.
I'll be waiting for everyone. Kind of when I started. When I understood. It seems like the cells somehow the may never not want to do anything.
I'm not sure it's the cells. I think it's just this place.
Yeah.
While this was all happening, Argento's just gonna pace around the different cell blocks and see if there's anyone she recognizes again.
Make me perception or investigation, whichever you want.
Alright. It's not bad. 19.
And was that perception or investigation?
Perception.
Cool. So as you go through and you kind of glance at the cells, I have to do math. 8 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 64. Grand total is 64 cells. Here, about 2/3 of them are filled. And as you look through, there's a few people that when you see them, something in the back of your mind seems familiar, like perhaps you saw them in a tavern once, or something along those little lines.
Mm-hmm.
But no one really jumps out at you.
Alright. I didn't see anyone that I know. I looked on the first floor too.
I don't know if it matters. Roman's keeping with the group if we're all staying together. I don't.
Or did you?
He didn't do a lot of traveling though.
Did you go back down to the floor you were on previously, or have you just stayed on this floor?
I just stayed on this floor.
Okay, cool.
I will go to the center. And I will try to use my psychometry again. See if I can get anything off that.
As you attempt to focus on your psychometry, it doesn't work. Not so much like nothing bad has ever happened here kind of thing. It simply, for whatever reason, when you try and use it on this room, you can't focus. You do notice as you kind of look around, the floor here for this room seems semi-translucent, and you can kind of look down and see floors below it.
I must do the football kind of look like the whole the boat thing.
The symbol, the kind of white circle with the symbol in the center, seems to be the only kind of solid thing that you can see. The rest are kind of translucent, almost looking ethereal. If you've ever dealt with kind of because I think you've shifted to the ethereal plane, right?
Yeah.
Where everything's
yeah.
kind of translucent. That's kind of what the floor looks like. Like you can see that it's there, but you can also see through it. And if you want to make just a kind of flat intelligence check, you can try and see if you can count how many floors, because you're definitely not on the second floor. Like there's a lot more than one floor below you.
That.
Okay.
So intelligent. Nice here.
19. You sit there and you basically just start kind of calculating things in your head. Your best guess right now, you are somewhere on the 14th floor.
Okay.
So going up isn't really a straight shot.
Yeah.
Arcane bullshit.
Yep.
Exactly.
While all of that is going on, I'm just going through my Rolodex. I'm going to cast a message on Leopold.
Okay. You said message, not sending, right?
Correct. I'm trying to. I'm just trying to see like, do we know any of the people or any of the people that I'm looking for here?
You're basically just calling up like, you awake?
Yo, you up?
You.
Dude, I'm here. Where are you?
Might come in the morning, so if I shut your door, this goes out here.
So, as you cast the spell, it connects, but no response. And this time, I know the character, as opposed to confusing the character with the wrong character.
Oh shit. I will go back to the group and say, I think Leopold's here.
Right.
And then I'll turn to Relwyn. So,
Your vampire friend. You mentioned it before.
yes. Yeah.
Well,
I thought he had been stalking me. Turns out he was trying to protect me. It's complicated.
can any of you sense undead?
Well, I could, let's see. I mean, it would be considered right in the theory, would it?
Sorry, it would be considered what?
Wait, right in
I mean, in order to track someone, you would need tracks or some path to follow.
Yeah.
Just sensing them is not the same as tracking. And if you want to try and look for tracks, you're welcome to, and I will give you advantage. I'm going to tell you right now that DC is not low.
Well, we know he's within 120 feet of where I cast that spell. So, and I saw Argento walking around.
The trick is getting to the right floor.
Right. Argento,
No.
you didn't see him around here, did you?
None of them look like drow, even like drow that have turned a little more gray in town.
oh, try
I will say there was probably a few drow in there, but none of them had any vampiric characteristics.
Okay.
Just because, again, there's an entire country full of them. Probably one or two would show up here.
Oh, smart.
Is Rowan, aside from the changeling, is Rowan seeing other entities that he's just aren't native to here normally?
Since you've only looked through one cell block, the changing has been the only one that.
Well, I mean, I've been with a group, so I don't know.
Well,
what else I would've seen.
Argenta's the only Argenta actually left the group to scout everything.
Okay.
So Argenta's the only one that's actually seen all of them.
Okay.
So as far as the one cell block that everyone has looked through, it has just been the changeling as basically is the only leprechaun that you has seen.
I rolled a 17 on my husband.
Nothing. As much as all the people seem to be covered in dust, the floors are remarkably clean.
I'm gonna go back down a floor
Okay.
and start looking through the cells.
All right.
Will you please all stay together? This tower seems to
Yeah.
be doing things.
I'm not going to let her go alone. We're just gonna follow her. I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
We literally jumped anywhere between a dozen floors.
Okay. So when you come down, you see this symbol.
Yep. See, that's a different symbol. That's not the one that we first saw.
So we are not on the same floor we were on the first time.
No. So don't go up or down the stairs alone. We need to stick together.
As you guys are kind of looking around on this floor, you suddenly hear the heavy sound of footfall. Dum, 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 dum,
Hmm.
dum.
Getting closer, getting farther away.
Getting closer.
Okay,
I
do we,
think we're gonna move in a direction that is away from those footsteps.
Okay. If you want to go back down the stairs that you just came down from, anytime you go downstairs, you enter through the north. Anytime, because the north stairs go up, south stairs go down.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to go back down, basically up the stairs you just came down, you can do that. Just tell me where you're going.
Well, I think Vala's idea was to move around on this floor
Oh, okay.
away from those footsteps.
So you can kind of circle away. The footsteps seem to be following you. Not running or anything. They're taking a kind of, for lack of a better term, boring pace. But they seem to be heading in your direction. And even when you kind of move around, they seem to keep going towards you.
Rowan makes the motion. Do we want to circle around?
I think so. While we're doing that, I'm going to try to cast message on Leopold again to
Okay.
see if he's still within 120 feet.
Message connects. What are you saying when you cast message?
Well, I think the first time it would just be I know this is a long shot, but I'm just trying to see if you're here.
Okay. And this time?
I know you're here. I know you can hear me. Just tell me where you are. We can help you.
Okay. Message goes. Nothing happens.
Okay, we're still close to him. I'm gonna start looking in cells, I think.
Is it possible that your friend thinks this could be a trick, or that either they feel they are so apathetic or despondent they may not care, or they might feel that this place is doing something to them. You
Dude.
might have to jog them somehow, convince them to care.
I will
Remind them of things.
I will I will cast message again. This time I will say, help, I need your help.
Okay.
Please help me.
Nothing. The spell does connect. No response. Footfalls getting slightly louder. Sounds like armored boots on stone.
I'm going to duck down one of the cells and see if I see him in any of the cells.
Okay. Perception check.
24.
24. Quickly looking through, pick a cell block. You can just point to it on the map.
I'm gonna say this one.
Okay. So, as you just very quickly kind of run up and down looking, this particular cell block, only 5 of the cells are filled. One of them does have another creature that you haven't seen in a really long time, a Goliath. It's a very large, kind of half-giant looking person. The rest are elves and humans. One of them's a dwarf. None of them are Leopold.
Okay. Then I will run back out.
As you do, you can see from the south the armored figure that you saw at the bottom has seen you and is just very deliberately but slowly walking towards you.
I think we're gonna run north.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna look in this cell block.
Okay.
Oh wait, there's a door there, or there's a stone wall there.
That would be somehow I flipped it wrong and forgot to put a door there. But there's supposed to be a door there.
Okay. Then I will look down the cell block.
Okay. Another perception check for me. This time make it with disadvantage because you have someone on your tail.
Disadvantage. 15.
15. Okay. So looking through, this one takes you a little bit longer. For whatever reason, you're having a harder time kind of focusing and seeing if you can notice anyone. The footsteps seem to be getting louder and louder. Louder than you think they should be, even if he was right on top of you. Looking through this one is almost completely empty. There's a single cell filled in here. In the cell is a young elven girl.
Hmm. Yeah.
As you look around, you realize that the armored figure is now in the doorway or in the opening to this bank of cells.
Okay. I will, did anybody come with me down this hallway or just me?
I'm hoping we all stay together.
Yeah,
I
we're
would
staying together.
have.
They've learned to not let you wander off on your own.
Damn it. My plan won't work then.
So
I'm sorry. So, is he here or is he here?
Here, the opening is always at the end opposite the center.
Okay.
So the figure is just standing at the end, and he looks at all of you, walks into the block, points at... I need a die. Points at Liliane. Okay. kind of gestures. Come with me.
Dumb question. His voice doesn't sound familiar.
The voice itself is so kind of contorted and strange that if it did sound familiar, you'd have a hard time. Like this is such a unique voice that you would not have mistaken it for anyone else ever.
Okay.
Is this the same person as we encountered entering the tower, or is this
Yep.
a difference? Okay, it's the same person. Okay.
Same person.
We're here for visitors' hours.
I will deal with you later. You. Points at Lillian again. Come with me.
No.
You can resist all you want. There's nowhere for you to go.
I'm not going anywhere.
Turns towards Argenta. You. Come with me.
Why?
I'm going to take you to your cell.
No.
There's nowhere for you to go.
That's fine. I'm wandering the yard.
Turns to Relwyn. You. Come with me.
Roland's like, no?
There's nowhere for you to go.
If that's true, and it doesn't matter, why do I need to be in a cell?
Because that is where you are meant to be.
I actually haven't committed any crimes.
You are here. You are not welcome. That, in and of itself, is a crime.
Can't we just pay like a fine or
I will
like
deal
community
with you
service?
later. Resist all you want. Eventually, you will end up in your cell.
Well, until that time, I'm not going.
I am not speaking with you. Turns
Can you
back to
take me-
Relwyn.
Can you take me to Leopold?
Turns to you. I do not know anyone by that name. I can take you to your cell.
Not yet. Not just yet.
Were we expected?
No. If you were expected, you would be welcome here. You are not welcome here.
Then how do we have a cell assigned to us?
I have assigned you a cell.
Well, efficiency aside, I have committed no crime, despite your opinion.
You are trespassing. Trespassing is a crime.
Technically, is it trespassing? It's like Rowan actually looks over. Is it trespassing if we're still allowed to enter?
I mean, look, if I was thrown in jail every time I went someplace I was not welcome, mean.
Perhaps you should have been. Then you would not be here.
Val will just attempt to walk past him.
Doesn't stop you. But he doesn't move either. And he's kind of taking up the doorway. So if you want to go past him, you're going to have to kind of squeeze.
Yeah, so to do that thing where it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna.
Please bow I get past him,
Yeah.
I'll walk past him.
Okay. As you start walking past him, you hear him say, "Some are like you. They feel the rules do not apply.
They
You will
don't.
learn. You will submit. There's nowhere for you to go." Does an about face. Walks away. You see him walk up the stairs nearby.
Okay.
We're not in a rush now to look for your friend if we have to.
Yeah.
You said that there's a cell with a young elven girl, Jody.
Mm-hmm.
Argenta's just gonna kind of walk up to the cell door because she hasn't walked past him. She's just gonna like see how sturdy this lock actually is.
Sure. Make me a sleight of hand check.
That is a 17.
17. So, the lock in and of itself does not seem to be particularly quote-unquote sturdy or anything like that. There seems to be a magical component to it, to where even if you did pick the lock, you're not sure you'd be able to open the door without some sort of magical assistance. But the lock,
Okay.
the lock looks like kind of a standard prison lock. You're relatively certain if you were to go to all of the locks on this particular block, they would probably all be open with the same key,
Okay.
which
I'll
is very traditional in a kind of lower tech prison.
I'll just kind of look at him and be like, "What did she do?"
He's already walked off.
Oh, okay. Just kind of tilts her head and walks back to the group. I don't think that the locks are like. I don't believe they can be opened standardly. They have some sort of bullshit to them.
Probably gonna need some type of way to break magical locks.
I think the warden has a key.
I
So-
have the spell magic, but I wouldn't entrust the efficacy at this point.
Right.
I'd be willing to try in your friend Leopold
Yeah.
situation, but I'd still be willing to wager it would require a bit of power at the very least.
I'm gonna look down the next cell block and see what I see there.
This one is more full. There's 7 cells that are filled. Again, no kind of rhyme or reason to the people that you see here.
Okay. I'm gonna use a message again
Okay.
and just be like, Leopold, I know you're here. Just tell me where you are.
Spell works.
But no response.
No response.
Okay. I'm just gonna work my way around this floor.
Again, the this floor is a little closer, about 50% capacity. And again, there doesn't seem to be a rhyme or reason to anyone being here. Like, you don't see, because all of them are wearing kind of similar garb, you can't really tell if maybe they all committed the same crime to be on this floor or something. But there's no other kind of segregation that you can find. There are various races, various genders. As far as you can tell, there is no discernible pattern over to even which cells are occupied and which ones are empty. There's no pattern that you can see. From kind of an organizational standpoint, it's almost maddening, because you would think at the very least they would have some sort of a system to know which cells are supposed to be filled and not, but it looks almost entirely random.
If we go to the center where it was, Lillian saw that it was transparent before, to be able to try to count to see what floor we're on.
Yeah. Just a flat intelligence check.
Good thing I'm so smart. 12.
12. There's a lot of floors. You're
Nobody
not
can count
100%
this high.
certain. Like you lose track after counting 10. So you're at least 11 or 12 stories up, but you're not 100% certain. You might actually be higher up than you were before.
Well, I mean,
Well, have we checked all of the cells on this floor?
I think we've checked all the cells on this floor.
Yeah.
And you
And-
sent the spell previously on the floor above, whatever floor that was. It connected
Right.
there as well.
Yes.
The range of the spell. Should if they were on this floor, shouldn't we have run into them?
I believe so.
Because even if they were above us, technically, I think we shouldn't have. You shouldn't have connected every time.
Why not? It's
I don't know, like.
It's 120 feet in any direction.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So
Well, I'm
theoretically, they could be up to 12 floors above you or 12 floors below you. If every floor is 12 feet or 10 feet.
10 feet. Yes. I don't know.
Well, I'm just measuring. I'm sorry. I just heard. Just if the floors we were on. I mean, depending on, of course, where you cast it, of course.
Right, that's kind of why I was originally casting it in the center, so that I
Ah.
could make sure I hit all of this floor, most of the floor above it. Yeah, I mean, it is a sphere, so like if I'm on one edge and they're 6 floors above on the opposite side of the tower, then it might not connect.
No,
But
okay.
we don't know what floor we're on. We don't know how many floors we've traveled down. This is very hard to try to triangulate based on the lack of information. I can try a scrying spell to see if he's in a cell somewhere, and if I could try to see, but the markings that we see aren't in the cells.
They're on
Like-
the walls.
They're on the walls, and scry doesn't really give you a view around.
Yeah.
How many floors have we
We've been on 3 different floors.
we
And while
I mean,
you
we
were
could just-
away, Vala attempted to do what you did, where she went to the center and tried to count. She got about 10 floors down before she wasn't able to calculate anything, so you guys are at least 11 or 12 floors up, but beyond that, you don't know the exact number.
And we don't even know if going down led us to a lower floor.
yeah. But
We're-
I wonder if we go down or up enough floors. Calculate how many floors we are up. If we figure out a pattern isn't simple at
I mean-
all.
The symbols that we've had are 2 rings, one within the other, lightning bolt, and then 3 lightning bolts.
Well,
First,
it was 3 lightning bolts, and one's kind of like a pattern like this over one another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
up and down we all.
In other words, every time we go up 3 floors. Every time we go down 2 floors. See if there's some kind of a pattern like that.
I'm
Yeah.
not even sure.
Right.
Or if the symbol starts to form where it say 14 was one symbol, 10 is another symbol. If we can kind of figure that out somehow.
The symbols we have seen so far, are those symbols in anywhere on the ring or rings of this in the center?
No. The pattern that's in the center is completely unique and obviously arcane in nature. But again, it doesn't follow any of the patterns of magic that it should.
But no floor symbols that we've seen are not in
No.
that. Okay.
The symbols that you seem to be some sort of a character, whether that is a character that translates to a single letter or like a kanji kind of thing, but they definitely are representative of something. The symbols on the sigil is just something that conducts magic, is as far as you can tell, but it doesn't seem to have a language that it belongs to or anything like that. It is simply an arcane glyph.
I mean, we can keep trying random floors, seeing if we come across him. Or,
It's also quite possible this tower contains more floors than we would think from the outside.
Yeah.
right. I'm just not sure.
I don't.
Obviously, I'm conflicted. I have a bias in this, and I may not be. My judgment may not be the best one.
I mean,
I'll take out the one of the coins that we keep getting off of the generals when we kill them, and I'll just have it in my hand.
Okay.
You guys want to go up a floor?
uh,
Can try it, see what happens.
Okay, I'll lead,
Okay.
and I'll just take out the coin, and I'll just be like, it's not confident, because she doesn't interact with arcane bullshit a lot, but she's just like, I order you to take me to the prisoner Leopold.
Okay. So as you guys head up, you come to another floor. Again, looks identical to the last one. However, the symbol that you see is this.
In the hourglass this time.
Mm.
Unfortunately, with that is where we're going to end it for tonight. As always, if you missed any of this, I do upload all these to my YouTube channels, youtube.com/JoJoTrainerJoni. Last week's episode, I've been really sick for the past week, so I haven't had I haven't had a chance to upload it yet. I'm going to try and get it uploaded tomorrow. This one won't get uploaded probably till Sunday. But otherwise, again, is all for me today, and I'll see you guys in the next time. All right? Bye-bye.